Rani Mukerji, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rajeev.
Rani, you're one of the most loved actresses in Bollywood. Why such long hiatus between the releases? It's been what, a year and a half since Dil Bore Hai Par?
Yeah, actually it's been, but this time it's definitely not my fault. Because I actually took up the movie last year in December when I actually said a yes to the film. This movie was shifted to Jan 7th. And somehow in a way I feel that there is some spiritual connection with the 7th of Jan release, because Jessica's birthday happens to be on the 5th of January.
Okay.
So in a way it's a good thing that the film has got shifted around that time. But I was actually hoping to come with this film this year.
Right.
But then obviously, you can't plan things in the industry. But I'm happy that I'm at least coming with the film.
True. That's what I was going to ask you. For fans who, who believe that you're really one of the only few actresses who can act, it's a long gap that they have to wait for, to see your every next film.
No, I know. Actually, I feel bad about that myself, because I would like to see myself more often on screen.
Okay.
But it's just one of those things that I don't want to disappoint my fans, by doing anything random.
Sure.
And obviously, as you know, you've been in the business for far too long, that actors are like beggars. They can't really choose their roles. They just have to wait for something on their lap if anything comes, like a 5 rupee note or a 100 rupee note, and you have to choose between that. Acha, ye leke main vada pav khao, yeah, I should go and eat a burger.
Right.
So I'm actually like a beggar, and I'm just waiting for a good role to come my way.
Right. Now, surely you've read what the tabloids have been saying. Of course, the tabloids are saying this long break has happened because Rani Mukerji is getting married, and now the new date has been set to 2 months later in February.
Right,
So are we invited? Are you invited?
No, actually, I'm not invited. I'm sure you are, because you're from the fraternity. I'm not invited to my own wedding, so I really can't comment on that wedding that's happening in Feb. And I find it really tiring to answer this question, but obviously I know I'm responsible, and it's my responsibility to tell my fans. The only thing I keep wondering is, why would the reporter say that is bar khabar pakki hai, without actually knowing fully well what the truth is. And the fun part is that the reporters themselves know that it's not the truth, but they just feel that that's something that they want to write about. And I really don't understand the fascination towards my marriage. The other way of looking at it is that they really love me, so they want to see me settled. That's a really good thing, because not many people, feel like this for other people if they're not even connected to the person. But the other fact is that I feel that my marriage has become kind of a joke, because from last 4 years they've been setting dates and months and places and venues, and it's just kind of getting a bit like, it's getting a bit funny.
Right.
Because there is no marriage happening, there are no talks of marriage, and suddenly these news, just starts, floating. And more than floating, it actually comes in the front page of a newspaper, which is scary for me.
Right. So when you really decide to do it, no one's going to believe it, because they're going to feel it's one more rumor.
Yeah, but I've requested all my fans and all the people who love me that please wait till I say that.
Right.
Because it's important for me to tell my fans, I absolutely believe that they have loved me for so many years. As you said, that they're always, blessing me and, absolutely giving me so much of love all the time. I think the least I can do is just be honest to them and tell them when I'm actually going to take the biggest step of my life.
Right.
In today's day and age, as we all know, marriage is not really a simple, decision for any person. You have to put a lot of thought behind it.
Correct.
Because it's just, changing. Like the word marriage, the term marriage is just changing.
Right.
So one needs to be really prepared to take that plunge.
Right.
And yes, when I do decide to take the plunge, I will definitely tell my fans about it.
Right. Are you the sort of person who would hide something like that?
Not at all. That's what. Because for me, what I actually start thinking is this reporter trying to tell my fans that I'm a kind of actress who's kind of insecure, that, if people get to know my marriage, my career will get over, or am I ashamed of the man who I'm marrying, or is it that I'm just a retarded soul that I just want to hide something as important as my marriage to the people who have given me so much love and have made me the star that I am.
Right.
So I just start feeling that they're doubting my intelligence, or they're doubting the human being that I am.
Right.
And I'm not that.
Right. Do you think that marriage would hurt an actress's career in today's day?
Not at all. Not at all. Actually, there have been so many examples of actors who've done so well. And not only today's actresses. I think, you go back to the time of Sharmila ji
and
Dimple ji. I think they all have done so well in their careers. So I don't see why a marriage should hurt an actress's career, because you know, actors act and they do roles, and people are quite mature to see them in films and not really judge them by their marital status.
Right. Rani, do you think that
Relationship status, sorry.
Rani, do you feel that actresses have a shorter shelf life in this industry?
Yeah, if you compare it with a male actor, then yes, because normally actresses in a way are always looked upon or more sought after when they're doing their glamorous roles, or that kind of thing. And obviously age kind of catches up with an actor. It's much easier for male actors to go on even after a particular age, but actresses kind of, their roles have to be redefined.
Right.
When they start, performing after a particular age, because you actually don't want to see an actress do a certain role which probably should have done in her 20s and to see her doing the same in her 40s. But for an actor, it's very easy for him to do what he did in the 20s as well in the 40s, the same thing.
Is it unfair?
I wouldn't call it unfair, but I think it's important that how an actor or an actress kind of makes her career in a way that she's working all her life if she's passionate about acting, and she kind of molds herself and makes herself look really I would say delicious, or make herself looking more
desirable,
desirable at a certain age.
Right.
Today you see Malaika Arora Khan, who absolutely looks so desirable in this Munni number, and nobody really questions what her age is.
True.
So I guess you need to look great, you need to look your best, and then possibly the age factor wouldn't really matter.
It's interesting what you said. Is it hard, Rani, for an actress to cut herself from the rat race, to say, I don't care if my so-and-so contemporary, my so-and-so colleague is doing this big film, that big film, I don't care. I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm only going to focus on that. Is it hard? Especially because people around are constantly there, the trade, the industry is constant, the press is constantly weighing who's number one, who's number two, who's had a hit, who hasn't.
It's like, to answer your question, I would say that it will be completely dishonest of me to say that people are not affected by the so-called rat race.
Right.
You can be cheeky to answer that, I'm not a rat, I'm a cat, and all these kind of things. But at the end of the day, I think one needs to understand that there is a certain time where you will be pitted against one another in the so-called rat race of sorts. Everybody goes through that phase in their career. I have gone through it at one point of time. But then again, it is how I have come out of that, and I've made a name for myself in the industry wherein I can sit and choose the roles I want to do. Like today, if a maker comes to me, I can with confidence tell him that, what, I would love to be part of a film, but do you think I can contribute anything to your film? But if I was at a time when I was competing in the rat race, or so you call it, probably I wouldn't have thought that much. I would have said, let me do this film. It's a big film. It's a big star cast. I'm getting cast opposite a big hero. I think I should do it. So I guess there is a time for every actor who goes through it. And yes, there are people and actors who say that, I'm competing with myself.
Right.
Which I feel is also true to a certain extent, because you are always remembered with your last release.
True.
And the last film that you did. At the same time, you are also competing with the rest of the people.
Right.
The only difference being that, yes, nobody particularly wants to be in the race, but yes, because of the box office success and what people say, you are made to be in that.
Right.
And one cannot sit in disbelief or can't sit in denial that, oh, I'm not really in it.
Right.
Because if you're there, you have to be in it. And then you can't say that, oh, I'm out of it. If you're there, you bloody well be there, and you better be the best, and you better be good at what you're doing,
Right. Rani, it's been a year and a half since the last release. When you were sitting and refusing all these offers that were coming your way, deciding you're going to wait for the one that you really care about, outside there was this perception, and I'm sure you felt it, Rani Mukerji is finished. She doesn't want to do any more films. She's her films haven't worked, so her career is over. You knew inside what was going on. I'm waiting for the one that really matters. You knew how many offers were coming your way.
Right.
Was it hurtful knowing that people were talking like that the industry, this is how the industry tends to think?
this talk that Rani Mukerji is finished has happened several times in my career. So I'm actually not very surprised with that line that comes. There was a time before I did Satya when, I remember a journalist coming to me and saying that, so-and-so actress is doing better than you and you're like completely finished, like on my face. And I was just listening and I was so naive at that point of time. I was such a sweet girl. And I really felt bad and I felt hurt. I said, really? And I really felt, oh. But luckily, because I'm from the film industry, my father has been a producer-director.
Right.
The one thing that he told me before I got in the industry, he was actually very, very against me joining the movies. I'm in the movies only because of my mother.
Okay.
Because of her constant like push that no, I know my daughter can do it. And my dad was like, no, this industry has a lot of sharks. You can't get into it. My daughter can't get into it. So when obviously I decided to get into films, as just let's just do it and see how it turns out. Otherwise, I'll just get back to studies and I'll do my routine. I have nowhere to come on the roads. So when I got into, my dad said, you should never get overexcited with success and never get too delusioned with failure, because these are the two things which are going to be part of your life from here on. I would not lie and say that even at this point when people said I was finished, it didn't hurt me. I would be lying if I said that. Yes, it did hurt me. Like I've, cried in the nights also that, my God, I was so loved and everybody loved me so much. And, today, just because my films don't do well, like the media is so quick enough to say that I'm, over. And then I get reassured by my fans, when I go onto the net and when I see their reaction towards me, that they want to see me in movies and they love me so much and then I should come back. And in that phase, it just made me realize more that I have to do something substantial.
Right.
I just can't do films just to prove a point to anyone. Today I'm here because of my fans. Today I'm the star that I am because my fans made me what I am today. So I can't let anything bother me but the fact that my stars want to see me. And till the day my fans want to see me, I'm going to be here and very much be here. And nobody can say that about me, that I'm finished. The day my fans say that yes, Rani Mukerji is finished and we don't want to see her anymore, that day I think I'll really die as an actor. But till then I think I'm going to go on till probably I'm 80 and I'm not going to stop.
Your character Meera is seen mouthing several cuss words.
Yeah.
How easily did those come to you?
Very easily.